Hello, welcome back. So today let's talk about some Japanese products and what happens whenever you grade them through tag. There is a common misconception that when people grade Japanese Pokemon cards, they're automatic 10s. And I feel like that could be somewhat true, especially if you're grading with subjective companies like PSA or CGC. A lot of the things that people really do here is Japanese products have better quality control, so therefore there's going to be less issues like centering, bad cuts, or even surface scratches. But I feel personally like that is not entirely true, especially where you're grading with tag, and the free tendies that you might be getting with PSA and CGC probably don't exist whenever you go with tag. So what I ended up doing is I went ahead and opened up a box of battle partners, and it's a pretty good set. There's really good art on this set, especially considering that you're excluding some of the other ones from Journey Together. But some of the cards that you can be looking forward to getting are going to be cards like going to be Lily's Clefairy, the first iteration, because we got another one in Ascended Heroes, and Reshiram, Articuno, the Whale Lord, a fantastic and very popular card. We also got the first iteration of Zoroark, which we got another reprint on, or another card on Ascended Heroes, or what's it called? Mega Dream, and so on. So honestly, I thought it was going to be a great set to go ahead and open up with my friends and family. And from the cards that I got, I went ahead and sent them to grading with tag. So now let's go ahead and talk about the results. But before we talk about the results, let's go ahead and talk about today's microphone of the day. And today's microphone of the day is going to be Okidoki EX from Shrouded Fable. Honestly, I understand that Shrouded Fable does not get a lot of love. It's bad said, but honestly, I don't think it's really a bad set. It just has a lot of not favorite Pokemon. And if they would have included like the Greninja, the Kingdra promo cards into Shrouded Fable as part of cards that you can pull, I can guarantee you that set will probably be a lot more popular. But nonetheless, Okidoki EX is a pretty neat card, especially for an SIR of a Pokemon that not a lot of people really like because it's tied behind DLC. But what do you think? So from the booster box of Battle Partners, I went ahead and ended up putting 5 cards that I thought that were kind of gradable. So I sent them in. We are going to be talking about the Ram. We ended up pulling Ram, Swinub, Furret, Hops, Zacian EX, the full art, and the last and final card that we ended up pulling is going to be Zoroark EX, the SAR. Now, let's go ahead and start breaking these cards down. The first card that we're going to go ahead and talk about is going to be Swinub. So, Swinub. This card has been graded a total of 353 times through tag. Now, whenever I got this card and I looked at the centering, I thought the centering was going to be pretty well. So whenever we look at the centering from the front, we got 53 on the left, 47 on the right, and from the top to the bottom, the centering is going to be 50-50. So overall, fantastic centering from left to right and top to bottom. Whenever we turned it around, the centering was going to be 48 and 52 from left to right, and then 49 and 51 from top to bottom. So overall, the centering on this card is pretty good. So this card ended up getting an 8. Now why? Overall, the centering is fairly well, but in order to get an 8, I believe that you need to have like some sort of indentation. And whenever we look at the dig report, the one thing that it does give us is that this card did have an indentation in the back. So we're looking at the top left corner, and not necessarily in the left corner, but a little bit lower, there's an indentation where the card looked bent. So this card came back as an 8. It's a very hard area to kind of bend the card, honestly, but I am kind of honestly not surprised, and let me show you why. So real quick, Swine Up came back as an 8, but it looks like the Japanese box that it got shipped with had a small indentation right here. So whenever you're opening it up, right, and the packs are inside, laying on, every single time where like maybe the box gets damaged, these Japanese card packs only have 5 cards in there, so it's very easy that an impact like that can go ahead and bend the cards inside as well. So inspect your guys' Japanese boxes whenever you guys get them. If you see like any kind of small indentations in the bottoms or in the sides, go ahead and assume that that side you're going to expect some significant damage. So therefore, it might not be the best idea for you guys to say send engraved with tags. So just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and talk about the second card that we got back from tag. In battle partners, we managed to go ahead and pull Ents Reshiram. Now, looking at this card, I have both the English and the Japanese side, and I can honestly say the Japanese card looks fantastic. Way better than the English side, and that is not me trying to sell you the product. Overall, Japanese has a better pop, and inside Tax Labs, you can deny it. It's a fantastic and beautiful card. So I was really excited to pull that card and to get it for grading. However, when it came back, this card came back as an 8. So we'll go ahead and break down the centering and see what kind of issues this card had. So at the centering, whenever we look at this card in the front has 51 and 49 left to right. So right off the bat, starting off really good with 59 and 49. Top to bottom, we got 49 and 51. Yo, that is pristine 10 conditions. Like, that is great. Like, that is great, great. In the back, we got 48 and 52 from left to right, and top to bottom, we got 49 and 51. So we have pristine 10 runner up, but this card came back as an 8. So I don't know why. Let's look at the day report and see what we find. So whenever we pull up the day report, the tag scan, noticed that the card had a small indentation. Just like Swinub, it looks like this pack was located in the same side because it received the same indentation. And that's something that I wasn't able to catch with my eye, but it's kind of cool that the tag scan can. So we can see on the top left corner, the same place where Swinub had the indentation, so does Ents Reshiram. And honestly, that's kind of like a buzzkill because we know that this card had a strong condition to be a tag 10, a pristine tag 10 at the highest tag 10 regard, like outside from this. So it hurts. And honestly, I think it hurts even more seeing that this card has been graded for a total of around 600 times. And like, it doesn't hurt me personally in the say that it's a very popular card. It's a card that I love to have in my son's collection. As an 8, it's gonna hurt a little bit. I don't know if it's something that we might be able to like straighten out at home. I might try to consider doing that and resubmitting it for grading and see if the scan picks it up again. But on to the next card. Now, for the third card that we ended up pulling from Battle Partners, that's going to be for it. And honestly, I was pretty happy about this because whenever I saw this card being released whenever Journey Together / Battle Partners got first released, I was super excited about this card because the card looks fantastic. A card illustrated by Ren that's kind of like popping up and coming into the scene with very realistic 3D rendering. This card is honestly amazing. My wife loved this card, and it's honestly a card that I can see my son liking just because of the animal and how realistic the animal looks / Pokemon, right? So this card came back as a 9. So first thing that came in my head is like, crap, did it get an indentation? But it can't be the indentation because all the other cards, great centering, they have an indentation and they're coming back as an 8. So this one coming back as a 9 tells me we probably have our first centering issue. So looking at this card on the population report, this card has been graded a total of 297 times, so 3 shy from being 300. So let's just say 300 by the time that you see this video, maybe. We look at the centering. At the front of the centering, from left to right, we have 56 and 44. So right off the bat, it's left heavy, coming with a 56 rating or measuring. Top to bottom, 49 to 51. On the back, we have 45, 55. So once again, the centering is kind of pushing it. And then from top to bottom, we got 49 and 51. So honestly, this card got hit by centering because if we look at the rest of the dig report, there is no other issues. Now, I don't think this card would have been in contention for a pristine 10, but definitely a tag 10 if the centering was there. So this leads me to believe that whenever we were ripping into this set, this card was probably located in this side where it didn't have the indentation on the box. So kind of a missed opportunity. It's a fantastic card that I think my son will appreciate it, not even being 1 years old, because I do give him the slabs to play around with because I want him to be looking into Pokemon, and it's one of his favorite toys. He likes to play with the tag slabs, and if they're not tens, there's nothing wrong with that. Do what you want with your collection. Now let's go ahead and go into the fourth card. So on the from now on, this is what you should be expecting from your Japanese cards. The fourth card that we went ahead and got back from Tag is gonna be, and no, sorry, ooh, no, I'm not spoiling anything. We're going to be talking about Hops Sashian EX. So this card is just your typical full art card, but honestly, it's a very colorful full art card with texture. So, I mean, I wasn't super happy or not super happy. I wasn't super excited about it, but here's a positive. It is a full art card, does have texture, and it's based off the legendary from Sword and Shield. So, I mean, it's not the worst. But whenever we look at the tag grade, this one came back as a 10. So 62 cards have been graded. So as you guys can see, not a lot of people like full art, and I understand. So I mean, that reflects with the grading. So 62 cards is a very low population card, but I still went ahead and set it for grading. And let's go ahead and look at why it came back as a 10. So if it came back as a 10, we can already assume that the centering is going to be fairly well. We shouldn't have any kind of dents, any surface scratches, or anything that the tag scan can go ahead and pick up. Or the tag AI. Let's just say tag AI, right? So centering. From the front, left to right, we have 52 to 48, 52 left, 48 right, 49 and 51 top to bottom. So once again, 52 to 48, that is outside the pristine 10 conditions. So a 10, a take 10 just because centering, yeah, perfect. I'll allow it. So on the back, we got left to right, 47 and 53. So the back is a little bit more off centering. And then from the top to bottom, 51 to 49. And honestly, I do like the consistency that the fact that if all four cards that we look so far, on the top to bottom, 49 and 51 have been our centering. And then it's kind of like the same thing on the back from top to bottom. On the back, it's 51 and 49. So all cards have been consistent in that aspect. So I do appreciate that. So no, zero problems with the corner, zero dings, zero surface issues. So this card only got a tag 10 just because of the centering. As I look at everything else in the dig report to see if there was any like less filling, any kind of surface issues, or any kind of edging that might bring it down from a pristine 10 condition, they didn't find anything. So first card that we got back as a 10, it was Ends Restaurant. Sorry, Hops Zacian on a full art. It's not the biggest win, but it's still a win. Now, for the last and final card that we got back from the tag rating is gonna be End Zoroark EX. Now, this was the SAR that we managed to pull from the Japanese booster box. So honestly, I was pretty happy to have pulled an SAR. And Zoroark is not like one of the cards that I ever heard people really talking about it, but it's still a nice card. And I guess Pokemon believes that it was either a nice card or there was a missed opportunity because there was another card that's coming out in Ascended Hero / Mega Dreams. Now, this card came back as a 10. So right off the bat, I'm assuming the centering could be good, should be good, but maybe off of being a pristine 10 contender and no issues. So this card, let's talk about the population real quick. This card has been graded a total of 168 times. So this card is either not very hard or is very hard to pull on the Japanese side, or people are pulling it and putting it straight to the binder because it's not a very expensive or popular card. Overall, I think it is a fantastic looking card, and the more that I see it, I can appreciate it. It's a fantastic card to add to my son's Pokédex collection and keep it there. So now let's go ahead and move to the centering. This should be the most important thing, and this is what we're going to see. On the front, from left to right, we got 52 and 48. So right off the start, 52 on the left side, 48 on the right, taking us away from the pristine 10 contention. On the top, we got 52 and 48. So this is going to be the first time that we see the centering from the top to bottom to be off from all the other cards. 52 and 48. On the back, we are looking at a 50-50 left to right and a 50-50 top to bottom. So maybe this card was probably printed in another sheet, right, and got added to these packs. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit upset. Not upset in a bad way because it came back as a 9, but 50-50 on the back, on top to bottom and left to right is pretty freaking cool. And the fact that we got hit with a 52-48 left and right and top to bottom, like, if it was a little bit better, it could have been a pristine 10, an SAR pristine 10 for my son's collection. Like, that's the things that I get excited for. Like, that's what hypes me up. But we were off. Now, I guess that was just my rant, right? That's my conclusion of this car. Shit, fantastic. We got a 10, but it's not a pristine 10 because of the effing centering. Overall, I'm not upset. I shouldn't be upset. I'm a little bit upset because it's a missed opportunity. Okay, I think I cooled down. So, are Japanese cards guaranteed 10s whenever you send them to grading? Honestly, whenever you send them to subjective grading, that is PSA or CGC, there is a good possibility that more than none, you're going to be getting either 10s or pristine 10s from CGC or 10s from PSA. Now, I do appreciate that the scan is very thorough, because out of the 5 cards that we sent, 2 of them came back as 8s because they were probably in the bottom portion of this box where the indentation where it fell probably affected the cards and gave them a small indentation themselves. So 2 of those cards came back as 8s when they had the possibility of being 10s at another company. One of them came back as a 9 strictly due to centering, and the both texture cards, whether if it's a full art texture card or whether it's an SAR, both of them came back as 10s, and the only thing that knocked them down from pristine 10 condition is going to be the fact that they were off-centered, both by 52 and 48. So I do appreciate the consistency. I do appreciate the transparency that Tag offers us. So not every single card that you send through Tag, especially if it's a Japanese, is a guaranteed 10. They will look at them harder. So I do see possibly Japanese cards, Japanese 10 Tag 10s or pristine 10s having more value than PSA 10s, just for the fact that they are harder to get, because there's a lot more things that the scan can detect than the subjective eye or the eye of a human grader. Also, from that, if you guys like this kind of content where we'll be getting back some tag submissions and looking at the grades, so that way you guys are informed, really do consider following, subscribing, and liking the video. If there's something that you guys want me to test in the future, please drop it down in the comments. Like, any kind of support, like from comments to liking, doesn't cost you a damn thing, and it really helps out the channel. Outside from that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.